Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. So if you caught my receiver range testing I did a few weeks ago, go back, take a look at that video. That's going to give you the general idea of how I set up the receivers, the LEDs, the transmitters, all that stuff. Check it out over here. Click on the link. I got some feedback from you all fine folks out in the community. Some very blatant errors I made, and mostly it was just dumb mistakes on my part. The big error that a lot of you guys noticed was that I had the 900 megahertz radios, both the Crossfire and the R9M system, had the antennas on the transmitters oriented incorrectly. I had them cross-polarized. This time I went and changed the position of the antennas, see if it made a difference, and yeah, it did make a difference. How much of a difference in reality it's going to make because your quad isn't a fixed object or a fixed orientation, who knows. Also, another issue with that last range test is after posting those results and other people coming out saying Tracer's got some really weird range issues, TBS had come out and said, yeah, there's an error in the firmware, and we figured it out, and some other telemetry related bugs. They went and released a new version of the firmware for Tracer. This test has the new Tracer firmware version on it. So let's get back out there and give this another shot. There we go.
All right, folks, just like last time, Archer RS, TBS Crossfire, I changed the orientation, R9MM OTA, and Tracer. Everybody at 100 milliwatts. And for these three, telemetry off. Still couldn't figure out how to turn telemetry off on that one. Same setup as before. Archer, Crossfire, Tracer, R9MM OTA. Let's try it again.
All right, folks, we're at it again. First time I did this, Tracer had a faulty firmware. It was confirmed by TBS, causing some range issues and some other miscellaneous things. And they've also released a power output modification. So today, we're doing the test again. I've reoriented the 900 megahertz antennas on both the radios, and everything's set up like before, 100 milliwatts, telemetry off on everything except for Tracer, because again, I couldn't figure out how to turn telemetry off. And here we go. Hoping the GoPro's actually capturing GPS telemetry. I highly doubt it. It's one of those features that was touted on the Hero 8 and certainly failed to deliver. But there's ways around it, but the GPS telemetry kind of sucks. Again, Archer, Crossfire, Tracer, and R9MM OTA. So two things we're going to test here is if the range is any better on Tracer, and if polarization of the 900 megahertz antennas really makes much of a difference, because let's face it, while you're flying, your antennas aren't polarized correctly very often if you're moving around at all. But that's an argument for another day. I'm really hoping Tracer is better now. I really like Tracer. I've put it in all my racing quads. Hoping to get a Ghost module in soon from a buddy of mine. It'd be nice to put those two head to head. All right, so let's get going. I don't remember exactly where they all fail-safed last time, but we'll definitely splice in that old footage, or at least reference it when I'm editing this. Or I mean when my editor is editing this. And I think this is about where Tracer dipped out on us last time. Nope, never mind. Same story. All right. Well, power of 2.4 gigahertz. And we're back. Little micro fail-safes. That would have been enough to crash your quad. Definitely busier out today than it was last time. One little blip on Archer there. It's certainly a lot colder today than it was last time. There you go. Oh. Archer and Tracer are, well, Archer's out.
Wow, what a different story today. Look at this. And this is about where everything dipped out. Well, let's keep going. And R9MM is out. Crossfire doing much better today. And there we go. And that's it. They're all done. Now, I haven't changed anything firmware-wise except for Tracer. That's the only one that's been changed. That's the problem with these range tests, is there's so many factors. You know, it could be that I have my blower motor on for the heat, or the humidity in the air is less or more. So much that can make a huge difference in this. This is interesting. All right, let's see who gets back on. Let's see who comes back first. Yep, there's Crossfire. And R9, that's not a lot of difference there. And Tracer and Archer. Okay, so yep, that's kind of what I expected the first time I did this test, but that certainly was not the results I had. So antenna polarization does seem to matter, at least in a test environment. I think in reality, it probably doesn't make too much of a difference unless you're going for like true long-range runs where you're not banking around a whole lot.
All right, so what do we make of this video? Well, range testing is really tough because I can go out 10 different times and get 10 completely different results. They're kind of the same, but where everything fail safes is just a little bit different every day. And you know, there's so many factors that could make a big difference in the range these receivers get. Plus, this is not an easy test. I'm going downhill, below grade. This is not line of sight at all. This is very, very tough. I know that if I were to put these on a quad, I could get much, much farther range out of them, but this is just kind of the benchmarking way that I've always done this. I may try to do it a little bit different going forward. I would like to put these on a quad, fly them until they fail safe, but that's something, that's an idea I'm gonna have to cross down the road. I just don't know how to go about doing that quite yet. GPS rescue mode being kind of sketchy and unreliable, at least in my experience. Tracer performed the same but better, if that makes any sense. The fail-safes, the initial fail-safe was at basically the exact same spot, but it didn't have the little micro fail-safes between when it had the first fail-safe and then when it completely lost its signal. Last time it was like micro fail-safe, micro fail-safe, micro fail-safe, and then eventually it would drop out. This time we had one little blip, and then we went a little bit farther, and then boom, it was off. Archer, exactly the same as last time because nothing's changed with Archer. Crossfire and R9M, they did get a little bit better range this time out, and that probably is attributed to the antenna orientation on the transmitter. So that does make a bit of a difference, but please remember that your quad is not stationary while it's flying. So if you're yanking and banking, antenna polarization is kind of a moot point. So maybe, check this, you want your antennas cross-polarized. That way you have the worst reception possible on your way away from you. That way you don't get too far, and once you try to make a turn, you lose reception. Just a thought. I don't know. I don't do the long range thing, so please feel free to correct me and let me know what you'd like to see going forward. If you want me to redo this test or redo it a different way, I do have a test where I crank everything to 11 and go out and see what the difference is. Unfortunately, my Crossfire transmitter is the V1, so the most I can get out of that is 250 milliwatts, but I'll probably just switch the Crossfire receiver over to my Tango 2 and crank out the 1 watt that it's capable of. All right, folks, thanks for watching this. Please leave some comments down in the video description whether you like this, didn't like this, or things that you think I should do differently or do better, or things I could do better going forward. I'm always looking for ways to improve the way I do this, and I definitely want to look into actually flying receivers until fail-safe. But like I said, again, 10 different tests, I could probably have 10 different results. So maybe this is for entertainment value only and shouldn't be used as like a hard and fast of how receivers perform compared to each other, or maybe it can be. I really don't know how well it translates, but oh, there it is. I hope you liked it. This is fun to do, and as always, thanks for stopping by and stay safe. See you around.